Hello, everyone. Welcome to a different side of the inside. Again, this is Deborah. I'm here with Lonnie, and we're going to continue our discussion on how important it is to communicate and how important it is to have bonds and developing, friendships. We left off in our last segment talking about the importance of communications. Today, we're going to talk about how Lonnie has formed these bonds within the prison. And because sometimes when you don't have what you need, you create it within, you create it. Hi, Lonnie, how you doing? You got something to say before we get started?
I'm doing well. How you doing? And just want to say what's up to the viewers and thank everybody again for listening and tuning in. Getting a better understanding of people in prison. So thanks again.
All right. Okay, my first question is, during the last 29 years, approximately how many facilities have you been in?
I've been there. I've been to Tehachapi twice. I went to Salinas Valley, then I went to St. Miller, then I went to High Desert, then I went back to St. Miller. I went back to Salinas Valley, then I went to Corcoran, and now I'm back at High Desert. So, what is that, 7?
Yeah, that's a lot of moving around. Yeah. So, do they ever give you a reason?
Years.
Huh?
I said, yeah, that's a lot of moving around, even in 29 years.
Right. So, do they ever give you a reason why they're relocating you?
Oftentimes they would let you know that you transferring. They'll send you a paper through the mail, letting you know that you're endorsed to another prison, and sometimes they just snatch you off the line. If there's enemy concerns, if there's security concerns, they'll just snatch you off the main line and put you in a hole or something, or just let you know that you're a threat to that institution, and they're gonna send you to another institution. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Our next question is it like starting over again? When I was coming up, we moved a lot. Like every 2 or 3 years, it seemed like we were moving for one reason or the other. And I remember how difficult that was going into different schools. It's like starting over. You had to meet new friends. You had to find out, what to do and what not to do and how that is or whatever. So is that the same thing?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Is that the same way? Do it feel like you're starting over each time?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I hate the most in prison, is moving around. Once you become stationary and you get the level of comfort that you can attain in prison, it's kind of hard to want to come out of that comfortability. But anywhere you go, you have to start over, yes.
Okay. So tell me a little bit what that looks like, because I know that when you go, because prison is prison. And even though they may have different people in different prisons and the culture might be a little different, but it's still going in. And if you've never been there before, is it like you have to reestablish yourself? Not just settling in, but to my understanding and I worked with kids, and I don't think it's too much different. It's like when the child first come in, it's like because they're in survival mode. It's a survival.
Right.
And so is that some of the things that you had to experience, that you had to come in kind of hard, or you had to come in with an attitude like, yeah, here I am, don't mess with me, or did you just try to figure out what the culture was before you had a strategy on how to settle in?
That's a great question, but usually when you go to another prison, you're going to know someone there.
Okay.
If it's just one person or if there's a few, but being yourself, of course, you're going to have to get a feel of the new environment, the feel of the people that you're around, the people that you directly associated with. You're going to have to get to know and how to develop a rapport with those people that you're around. And there's an orientation process, so when you get there, you have to stay in your cell for at least 7 days, and you have to go to what they call a committee, and that's when they determine whether or not you can program safety on the yard without any hardships, without any safety concerns and stuff like that, and they release you to the yard. And that's when you get to meet everybody and shake everybody's hands. And, of course, when you get there, whatever you associated with, black or whatever other race, they're going to direct you to your people. So you get to know them and say what's up to them and, kind of decide where you want to be in that prison. So if you're not comfortable around the people that you're around in the cell that they sent you to, then you would make those accommodations, through the staff to move to another building or another cell.
Oh, so they will accommodate you if you don't, feel comfortable?
Oh yeah. They what they call a cell move slip, and so they give you a piece of paper and you put down the cell that you're in, you put your CDC number, and you put the cell that you want to go to, and you turn it in to the COs, and they give it to the sergeant, and the sergeant will approve it, and they alert you and open the door and let you know that you're moving, so you just move to another cell. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah.
So you said when they first released you, like out in the yard where you're communicating with other inmates and what have you. And so we already covered one of those questions that I had, because you said that you always run into somebody that you're familiar with, that you've seen before.
Right.
And I know that has to feel okay, that, hey, there's a familiar face that I can relate to. And that person can probably fill you in on what the atmosphere is around there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. I'm learning as I go too. Okay. So what about, because prison is dangerous. I mean, you came in at 17. You have been in prison for 29 years, and I'm sure you've seen all kind of stuff. Just recently, are you all still on lockdown?
Yes, we are.
Okay, because recently there was a riot thing going on there, and so y'all been on lockdown, but they are still allowing you to make calls and the messages, because everybody has tablets now. So that brings me to my next question. It's like, do you have enemies? And how do you recognize your enemies in there? That might be kind of a foolish question, but I'm just saying, because I want everybody to get a feel how it is to be inside and knowing that you have enemies. And prison is not like, oh, you knocked a little chip off my shoulder and we're going to fight. It's like people getting stabbed, killed, because it was how many? 2 or 3 people that were airlifted in that recent thing that happened. So, tell me a little bit about the enemy, having an enemy in there.
Well, I don't think there is a lot of people that call themselves your enemy, but everybody usually, especially on the main lines, people usually have a certain level of respect for one another, and there's boundaries and stuff like that, and there's good morning and good nights and handshakes, and the common things among people. But of course, the boundaries in prison are a little bit more tight than in society. So it's easier for things to occur in prison and blow up,
Mm-hmm.
than it is for people to just blow up on the streets. But I wouldn't say I have enemies, but I do have people that I will watch. And that's not because I feel that they're a threat. That's just because there's a lot of mental health issues in prison that we've elaborated on, and of course, when people have mental health issues, it makes them more susceptible to just flying off the handle doing crazy stuff. So, just to keep an eye on them, so they won't have an episode to you on you. You tend to watch them, not literally, just figuratively, just make sure you know where they are when your back is against them.
Right. So it is something that you have to be aware of at all times. Something that you is like you said. You said you might not consider them an enemy, but you have to watch them. You have to, because they can be, they can cause potential harm to you if you're not paying attention.
Absolutely. Right.
Okay. So, in those events, have you witnessed some of that? I know you have. 29 years, you have witnessed a lot of stuff. What is one of the worst things that you have experienced?
Oh, God. It was, I think it was the first year,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
It was the second year that I was in prison. And my brother Norvell and my cousin Kenneth was on the yard with me at that time too. And they put the yard down, and with the minute they put the yard down, they say get down, and all the inmates have to sit in a sitting position, for the staff to respond to an alarm. And most people don't get down, especially like gang members. That, are used to violence. None of us ever get down until we know what's going on. And, when they yell get down, you kind of look to a certain area and you just see this dude getting, oh my God, it was 3 people with 3 knives just welling on him with a knife, and, he was already knocked out, so, he couldn't defend himself. And he was killed right there on the yard. But it was, oh my God, it was a butcherman. It almost looked like a slaughterhouse.
Wow. And what was, after that happened, what was the atmosphere there? I mean, that's crazy. Because I know they locked everything down.
Yes, they did. And, believe it or not, and that's a good follow-up question to that question. Because believe it or not, and it's sad to say, but
you have 60 seconds remaining.
People just continue with their own program and basically forgot about it. And people didn't understand that there was a family that was just contacted telling them that their family member was killed in prison. So sometimes we get so disattached from reality that we say, oh, well, it's time to go back in the cell, take a wash up, eat something, lay back, listen to some music, whatever, but, it's somebody that just lost their lives. That just lost their life. And, we sometimes we get disattached from our own realities up in here. And sometimes it's because these things are commonplace, and, you're not surprised at them anymore.
Right. Okay. You're gonna have to call. All right, we're back with Lonnie, and you were just saying how desensitized you become or people become,
Right.
well, I can't say everybody becomes desensitized.